back to We the Game. Today we'll be talking about Week 7, Arizona Cardinals versus the Los Angeles Chargers, and the good news for the Cardinals on that game. There were a lot of high points in that game for I think Cardinals fans, and a hard-fought game, really. Luke, you got to watch that game, I think. So why don't you go ahead and give me your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, this one was right down to the wire. Obviously, had some luck go our way. I agree with most, oddly enough, of the penalties that got called. There was a DPI that people probably aren't happy with that got called off because it was ruled uncatchable toward the end, and I was like, it probably was. I know they don't often pull out this one, but I mean, coaches pull it. Coaches say that all the time, but not really officials so much. But yeah, that ball was a long way past that receiver, so I'm okay with that one. And then there's the call on Marvin Harris, and it wasn't on him, but against the guy who hit him, got the personal foul, and that one drew some ire as well. But I think that one's one where you disagree with the rule more than the ruling, because I think technically, yeah, he hit him with his head in the defenseless receiver's head kind of thing. So it's like, we've suffered from plenty of unfortunate penalties over the years, so they don't get a whole lot of pity from me.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of luck in this game. You got Kyler throws a pick that it wasn't a bad pick. It was just Khalil Mack made a great play, and the ball dropped into the worst place it could possibly drop. It just dropped right into this lineman's hands. Thank you very much. I'm a star.
Mm-hmm.
And then James Conner chases him down and punches it right back out on the exact same play, and it's just like, well, that was a brush with death, essentially. So a lot went right for us in this game, and we still won at the last second. So hats off to our defense. They played as well as we could hope. They pulled off the bend but don't break defense just about to perfection. They got really lucky with the punch out of the ball that turned into a touchback on the other way. I mean, that was just, and if that guy's left foot is out of bounds, then okay, well then they've got a 60-yard gain and it's first and goal from the 3 or whatever. If it's ball bounces out at the 1, I mean there were 100 scenarios where that's bad, and we got rather fortunate. So they kept fighting. Now to the not luck related stuff. Our offense still looks really disheveled, specifically our pass game. Trey McBride works. Whatever that connection is between him and Kyler, it works.
Mm-hmm.
And James Conner really works. And when Kyler decides to run, that works. But that's 4 or 5 plays a game. The pass game to the wide receivers does not work right now. I think they had 40 total receiving yards or something like that. That may be wrong. I'd have to look that up. But it was not very much
right.
to actual wide receivers. And yes, they had a touchdown. Dortch had one, cleverly avoiding all of the players I have in fantasy. And that's great and all, but the wide receiver stuff is a problem. It is generally viewed as an offensive coordinator problem more than a Kyler problem because we've seen him thrive with wide receivers before. They were doing better with wide receivers a little bit last year, it feels like, and it's just not working. So we're wondering if they're going to switch up play callers at some point. We don't know, but there are problems there that we're not sure how they're going to fix this. So you don't want to be switching offenses completely in the middle of the season, but getting a different play caller from within the same building. The quarterback coach becomes the play caller, or the wide receivers coach, or just someone else who obviously knows the playbook to call it a little differently. So that'd be one thing. For the Chargers, we held their run game, which I think was really for the defense what saved us, because if they had that run game going the way the pass game was going, we'd have lost this game by 20 points.
Yep.
So it was exciting. It was right down to the wire. Chad Ryland, he's He's looking like last year was a bad year, and this is more like his normal, maybe. So it's unfortunate for him because that was his first year last year, but he got another
Mhm.
chance. So we'll see. He's fighting for that long term deal with some team, and he's on a team with a 40-year-old kicker. So maybe it's us moving forward. Who knows?
Right.
But anyway, that's a bit rambly. I mean, I should let you talk about it. What did you think of this one?
Oh well, I mean, you covered obviously the great points there. I think I'm now officially heading up the James Conner fan club. Uh, what a game! I know I talk about him every week because I love big running backs like him. Just say, what a great all around game though. Right at 20 for 100. Like he seems to do every week. He got 50 yards receiving on a couple of big plays. But so he's helping facilitate your offense, and now he also is taking a note to try to be your defensive player of the year on that play. That is another effort play, right? You're going to go run them down and have um, the thought process like, hey, I'm going to go for the ball against this 400-pound guy, and really put the effort in on that was just a lot of fun to watch. So he was a lot of fun for a guy I enjoy watching already. So James Conner, as you already pointed out, Trey looks great. I think he is such a gem in what feels like it's a little bit of an off year for a lot of tight ends. Like they're just not as productive. Feel like this year as they have been the last 2 years in general. Um, he just seems very consistent, and some of the catches he's making are such difficult catches. And then to steer right into traffic and take people down is always fun to watch. Kyler right now, right now it's hard not to feel like Arizona is so heavily dependent on that 1-2 Lamar Jackson like play from Kyler where he's got to wheel out and go pick up a touchdown. And that just goes further to your point about the wide receiver core. And I wish I understood better what the real problem is there with the wide receiver core. Is it just maybe is it just the why hey, we're learning route running, like professional level route running, which is again poor Marvin Harrison Jr. I feel for him in this, because all the excuses that you normally would give to a wide receiver when they're coming up into like Michael Wilson, like I would give all these excuses to him. But it's kind of unfair to Marvin Harrison Jr. because like, well, his dad, and then it's like you kind of lose the I feel like a little bit of that opportunity to take that. Do you kind of feel that way as well? Like, hey, I don't give him as much slack, or fans in general don't. What do you kind of feel on that one?
I give him slack as a person or whatever. It's not that. I don't care about the whole. Oh, but he's got a junior on his name and all that.
Sure.
It's what we've seen already. Like he has the skill
Yeah.
set. There are too many
Oh yeah.
people that came into this. It's like he's the best looking wide receiver prospect I've ever seen. It's not just he looks good or he runs really fast or something like that, but like the way he studies, the way he prepares,
Yeah.
everything. Like there were literally no dings. Some people were like, "Oh well, we don't think he's got a great top speed," which is crazy because I think he
Sure.
ran 22.5 miles per hour in college. But like, it's strange. It's almost like Trent Richardson, except we know he's not unable to discern left from right. Like that's not the problem. There's
Yeah.
just some weird disconnect. And if it were just him, I would think, oh, it's a rookie. He's got the jitters. He's lost his confidence. And he may have lost his confidence because of the thing that we tend to think is the real problem, which is none of the wide receivers are really producing. So again, if it were just him and Michael Wilson was popping off and Greg Dortch and all this, it's like that would be different. But they're not. No one is. So it's that old thing about you met a jerk, then you met a jerk. But if everyone's a jerk, then you're the jerk,
Yeah.
right? Well, if
Right.
you have one wide receiver that can't get open, then that wide receiver needs to figure out how to get open and practice or however you deal with it. But if all of them, you either have a quarterback problem or an offensive coordinator problem. And it's not Kyler's job to run the routes for the wide receivers. Like, they have to run the routes. He has to throw a good ball, and he's missed some balls. I'm not saying Kyler's perfect here.
Oh, sure.
But if there were like 6 drops apparently in this game, I didn't count. But someone read that off. So that's not great.
Yeah.
But no one's even able to get open. Makes me think that it's not even a play call. It's a play design problem. So that is something that's going to be hard to adjust, it seems like, through the year. Maybe you can shift play design enough in a couple of weeks to start getting people open. But right now, unless it's a broken coverage where someone's just running free, the deep ball has been eliminated. And apparently that is also, I should add this in. This has been talked about at length through some of the interviews I saw. The Chargers specialize. Everyone's playing like cover 2 and all that. The Chargers apparently usually play cover 3. Like, they're like, there's 3 guys that we're really not, it's called, I think they call it shell, where they're just like, yeah, we're not letting you have anything back here.
Sure.
And so they're not an average measuring rod for success on deep ball passing ability. But the stuff with Marv is frustrating, and you can tell he is frustrated.
Of course.
At the end of the game, other guys are celebrating, and Kyler's going over to do a little interview and all this, and it's like Marv's already walking the locker room, and it's just like, hey, you should be one of the stars in these games, and I don't really think you care that much about the publicity, just based on the other stuff that you've done, but you should be, and so it's frustrating to watch as a fan, but
sure.
I guess the optimistic side of this is we have the personnel, we think, to be better on offense. We just need to fix the play calls. We need to we just need to start using them correctly. On defense, they're outplaying their mandate. They're exceeding expectations. Not by tons. I mean, we're like the 25th or 26th ranked defense, or 24th maybe, where we should have been the 32nd. So we're not exceeding it by much, but yeah, I'll take it. So, anyways.
Well, and y'all took a hit on that. My favorite guy to watch on your defense has been Dennis Gardeck, and him tearing his ACL, which I was kind of hoping maybe it wasn't. It was just another blow. And you guys supposedly you have one of your rookies coming back who you were expecting. You drafted him to get more pressure. Is there any word on him coming back in the near future?
They are very tight-lipped about stuff like this. Most teams are,
sure.
But we are no exception. You'll hear terms like trending in the right direction or that kind of thing. But it is certainly not been eliminated for this week. But yeah, to your point, our projected main 5 front guys, 2 defensive ends, a defensive tackle, and 2 outside linebackers, were supposed to be Zayden Collins and Dennis Gardeck as the outside linebackers. I believe it was Justin Jones. I was getting him and Bilal Nichols backwards in the tackle. Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols, and Darius Robinson, who you're just talking about, the rookie.
Yep.
Darius hasn't played a snap yet. Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones, and Dennis Gardeck are all done for the year. So if Darius doesn't play, we will have 1 starter on a defensive line that wasn't exactly a strength for. So the injuries are frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. I can appreciate that.
We keep looking to our ownership / general manager, and they're actually not the same person, but ownership and
still,
general manager to be like, hey, maybe you could do a real thing about this. And it's nice to get a guy like Naquan Jones who had a sack in this game. That was great. We had 3 sacks somehow. How in the world?
Yeah.
But
we're
kind of clamoring for a decent move. We're seeing moves right now that are happening. They're not that expensive. I mean, they're expensive dollar-wise if you make them a long-term deal, but it's not like you're giving up 2 firsts for some of these players that are big names, or at least were big names. So we keep hoping.
Impact players, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, impact players though, yeah. Do you see? Oh, I was just gonna say, do you see I guess 2 things there. Do you kind of have an expectation? I know you just said you kind of are looking to ownership. I understand, playing. I'm a Twins fan in baseball, and so I understand looking to ownership to make that big trade that never comes. Do you do you kind of see? Do you have an expectation that hey, they're going to do something? And if so, if you could, what's your dream kind of player that you would think like, hey, I think this is a potential, and who would that be to pick up?
Yeah, so do I expect it to happen? I don't know. He didn't last year because, well, he traded someone away, he traded Josh Dobbs away, but we were 1-7, I think, at that time. And so, yeah, you're a seller, right? And if we had lost this game, we might be sellers. I think we talked about the possibility. James Conner might
Right.
be a cowboy today. If we had missed that last field goal or a whole bunch of other problems, sorry. Buda Baker might be a Jet or I can't remember the other team they said might have been interested in him. There were a couple of suitors out there for Buda Baker, but that kind of thing. But I don't know. There are a lot of different kind of moves. I mean, I love Dexter Lawrence, of course, for the Giants. He's just a monster. He's a defensive end with 9 sacks already. And I'm like, of course I want that on my team. He scratches every itch that we need scratched. And it's just, but he may cost us the entire draft class for the next half decade. So I get it if they don't go do that. Because he's in his prime. He's 27 years old. The Giants don't look like they're going anywhere this year. In a year where their division is probably not out of reach, they still can't reach it.
Yeah.
So
I would agree.
But he is also just like one of the appealing things for me would be he's kind of a foundational piece. He's like a cornerstone that you're bringing in. It's like, hey, we're going to build around this guy in our defense. Well, they would probably like to do that too. Now, the argument for is like, yeah, you should go ahead and give him up. Is he's going to be an expensive piece for when you're rebuilding over the course of the next couple of years because Daniel Jones isn't the guy. It means you need a quarterback. Probably a rookie because it's not like Patrick Mahomes is going to come in that door anytime soon. Or the actual Patrick Mahomes. So by the time that they're relevant again, dude's going to be 30. So, I mean, 30's not ancient again. You know what I mean? It's just like a little bit outside of this prime, and they're going to have paid him for his prime years and not really gotten anything for it. So that argument exists for guys like Dexter Lawrence, guys like the Las Vegas Raiders, Max Crosby, guys like Jeffrey Simmons in Tennessee. They're all like 27 years old. They're in their prime, but we'll see what they do. Myles Garrett's a name I've heard thrown around a little bit. I love that name. It's a complicated contract, apparently, because of how they backloaded it, void years and all that noise. But he's an interesting one. Would he want to come to Arizona? That's another great question. Is like a lot of people are like, "Oh, Arizona, they have a great reputation." So we'll see. Do I expect anything? I'm kind of trying to drop the expectation. Would I? Yeah, of course I would. But I'm a fan. It's a good thing I'm not the GM. So yeah, that didn't really answer your question, I guess. But in short term, there are very few actual expectations for what I think they will or won't do. Yep. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying I'm looking forward to seeing how they go up against Miami, this next week. I'm just thinking that should be a very winnable game. I'd like to see the offense figure some stuff out, right? Like it should be like it's a game you should win. I just want to see the passing game in particular, right? Because I do think you could run this game and win, just running really. But I'd like to see you go into that game like, hey, no, we're passing today. Like, let's go. But I don't know. What do you think about heading towards that?
Well, do you want to actually get into that game, or do you want to wait until?
Yeah, we can wait. I was just a short and sweet kind of idea. That's all.
Well, the basic idea is yes, of course, they need to continue to flesh that out, but they also need to win. So if the passing game's still not working, but the run game is, then run the ball. But they really. It needs to be like a point of emphasis this week during practice to try to make that work. There's that guy over there saying Jalen Ramsey. Don't bother throwing at him. He's had our number for 5 years or 7 years or something like that. So why bother? But of course, this is a very Cardinals thing to happen. It sounds like Tua's going to play this week. But bear in mind, the one game he played this season, he looked terrible. So for Cardinals, hopefully he's still terrible. The new NFL may not favor what he does